Hello, my name is Vlad, and I am a coach, accredited coach, and a psychologist. And today we have this wonderful guest, Dragana, and she is a person that started her own business. And in this today's conversation, I would like to mention the topics related to starting a business, the reasons why somebody would dare to do such a thing, and what is the driving force behind? What are the motivations, the reasons why somebody would decide to make such a decision? So I would like to invite my guest, Dragana, to introduce herself.
Thank you so much for having me. Vlad and I go a long back. We are high school friends and we've known each other for a while. So, yeah, today we're going to talk about a little bit about online business and what's it like going from secure, safe job to online business. So yeah, a little bit about me. I was a 3D animator in animation industry for 10 years. I worked in visual effects, gaming, and my last role was in steamroller animation where I was a lead animator working on some of the Disney projects. And it was really um, a fruitful career that I built over a decade. I even had a short film coming soon that I got the funding for and everything. And I really spent like a whole decade building this huge mountain and body of work, only to transition and switch lanes. Not only to a completely different career, to now doing content marketing for artists and animators, but running my own business. So yeah, that kind of happened this year.
Mhm.
Of course, just because it happened overnight, it didn't happen really overnight. A lot of it came before it, so we're gonna talk about it in this video, I'm assuming.
Such a big transformation, and the fact that you have decided to make this kind of transition after building so much, and that there was something inside of you that was telling you that you should do that and make this immense change in your life. So tell me something about that decision. When did this kind of idea start to occur within your mind?
Mhm. So it started to boil 3 years ago when I started promoting my own short animated film that I got the funding for, and I hired something like 20, 30 people to work on it. And I had some sense of responsibility. Okay, if we spent like 5 years creating this film, it will be a waste if nobody sees it at the end. So that's how my marketing career started. And that's how I started being interested in content creation and optimizing animation content for virality and for bigger reach. And that's how I got into it. I started promoting my own short film. I had a really successful campaign. I got, I don't know, millions and thousands of views by producing these short clips talking about the journey behind the film, some of the struggles, and showing the visuals, the lore about the project as well. And that really took traction. And then slowly, as I grew over that format, particular format that I was good at, I started to branch out into a more wider content strategy and see how can I ensure my longevity in social media without burning out, and how can I find out different formats that I can keep showing up, but without sucking all my time, energy, and still talking about animation industry, social media for animators. Why is it important for artists to have their personal brand and to know how to market their project online? In today's day and age, I don't, yeah, having an online presence is like having a CV in a sense. So yeah, that's how I slowly got into marketing. And then I realized I was so obsessed with this new craft and this new field that kind of sucked me into it. I was really obsessive about storytelling, analytics, um, everything about short format and attention and how we humans naturally hook to storytelling in certain stories. And then I realized that was my obsession from 5 to 9, but my 9 to 5 was completely lacking that excitement. And
So I can, as I
Mhm,
can hear, there is this moment of excitement that kind of arose like 3 years ago when you started experimenting with these videos, and then when you got a feedback that was quite positive for you because you had a lot of reach and a good viewership, you kind of felt that there was something there that was
mhm,
really the driving force
mhm,
that inspired you to think and expand in that direction to become more present in social media and to present your work. And what I heard from you is also that you mentioned about why is marketing so important for people who are doing some kind of art, digital art, of any kind. But why is this internet presence so important? And you also mentioned that there is this CV referral.
mhm,
So why is what do you get from making yourself present as an
mhm.
artist in digital world?
Okay, I was just talking about this with my students on our yesterday call, but there's this study how even the dogs that are put to adoption that have names attached to them get adopted sooner than just the dogs who have a number attached to them. Or if you have been listening maybe to Chris Voss, he's like this famous FBI negotiator, and he talks a lot about how even the captivators who get familiar with their captees or people who get kidnapped, but they tell them something about their self. They tell them their name. They tell them, "Hey, I have a brother. I have a sister." So suddenly there isn't just a number, or isn't just faceless person behind. There's a story. There's an emotional connection behind it. And our industry, well, we can talk about that if you want, but just in short, it's shifting. The industry is really shifting from people going to movies and watching content there to our phones and watching content in short format. So naturally, the creators who are producing that content have to adapt to the consumer behavior as well. And I just realized that it's no different when an artist applies to a job and a recruiter has like 200 other applicants, and all they know about you is just your name and your email, and they are classifying you based on whether you are a game animator or a film animator, creature, a feature animator, doesn't really matter. So there is nothing about you they will remember. So what you want to do as an artist is, if you're going that traditional studio route, or even if you're not, if you're just looking for a freelance work or clients on the side, you want them to attach more to your values and not just your work. Your work is kind of becoming like a baseline to have a good quality work, especially in the age of AI, where we don't even know who is behind something. And an average Joe doesn't even know if something is AI or not. So the job of an artist is basically to prove you're human. And you do that by telling stories. And you do that by talking about your project, but also about yourself, why you're doing that, who are you, why should they care, can you solve their problem and not just be a good artist. So
When you mentioned that there is this a layer of emotion that is actually important, and how much in this day and age everything has turned to some kind of consumption, and that the face behind the creation is kind of forgotten. So I feel like this uh, storytelling is such an important layer to actually show who is behind some kind of work, and what kind of story is there, what kind of humanity is there. So these kind of things seem very inspiring to me, and I feel like that's also one of the driving forces that kind of motivated you to go into that direction, because I feel like you saw the opportunity there to develop. So When it comes to jumping from one space to another, like from one safe environment, the
Hmm.
job that everybody is doing, I'm paying for the bills, I'm providing, I am dependent on somebody, but I'm safe. How do you jump from that to I'm going into something, I'm not sure whether it's gonna work or not, but I'm gonna give it a try. How do you do that? And what helps you there?
Well, it's not a single jump. I would say there are many small incremental jumps over the amount of time you need. For me, particularly, it took a year to get accustomed to the idea of having a business and getting into the identity of someone who is not relying on a paycheck every week, but is willing to take a financial cost even at the first couple of months or even a year or 2 years. I don't know, but I know that this is where I'm going. Like I don't see other way. I don't see any other alternative. And the funny thing is, when I left the animation industry, I already had a built up brand for myself, a lot of connections, and my reel was never better than it was in those 10 years. Plus, I had a short film that was just about to come out. And I had so many opportunities to go and work somewhere, and I just couldn't apply or couldn't reach out to a single studio or couldn't ask a single coworker, hey, do you know? I just like I couldn't even fathom those words. I had to go the other way. But for me, it was finding a mentor. So specifically a business mentor who helped me a lot how to formulate my offer, what channels to focus on in the first 3 years of running an online business, what not to do, how to manage your time and all of that, how to talk to clients, and all of that logistical, but also more importantly, mental aspects. Um, and that's something I'm seeing now with my students as well, especially in those long memberships and programs. It's not just the information we pay for, even though that's maybe initially the reason why we enroll into a program, but the reason why we stay is mostly accountability. Because what I am noticing is when I don't go to church 2 weekends or I don't um, send a report to my fitness trainer, how's it going? Or if I'm not showing up to some of our coaching calls with my business mentor, I'm slipping. My mind is diluting. And I'm
Mhm.
noticing that within myself, with the women in the group coaching programs I'm in, within my students, within everyone. And I think that's just a human condition. If we are not constantly on that narrow path and having someone to hold us accountable, we slip.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's possible for anyone to successfully do social media and monetize it in any way without having some sort of support, whether paid or not.
Hmm. Yes, it seems like this path is a narrow path. Means something that people don't usually do, and it does require a lot of support. So in your case, you decided to when you do the jump, you had the motivation, you had the reasons why would you like to do that, and then you seek for some kind of support and assistance, and then you just went into it with that.
Mhm.
And it's important to maintain this kind of status so you can just build up onto your
Yeah.
path. But what is interesting for me is also to discuss this blockage that you
Hmm.
have, like
Hmm.
this moment when you had this amazing career and you developed so much in that, and then there was this moment of like, okay, there is this unknown way and there is this safe way, and I'm really good at this, and people want me, and I can apply anywhere, but I'm not gonna do that. Like there was something inside of you telling you not to go there. What were
Hmm.
the reasons? Like, do you have any comment on corporate life, on what does it take from us and what does it give us, positives and negatives?
Right. I mean, there are a lot of positives, and I really love working in a big studio in a big corporation. Like I said, up until 3 years ago, I was I was living my best life, honestly. I had an amazing team. I worked on a great projects. I had a nice salary, especially living in Serbia here. I mean, where the cost of living is mega low.
Yeah.
So on the outside, everything seemed perfect. But on the inside, slowly that started to eat me up because as I was diverging from some of the animation interests and animation topics, I couldn't fit in into that room anymore. The conversations we had every day, I felt like I don't belong there anymore, and we don't speak the same language anymore. And I was desperately trying for them to see me somehow, for them to acknowledge me somehow. I was looking for validation through some of the studio system to somehow see me and acknowledge that I'm worthy of shifting to completely different niche, uh, without, providing the context that not only that I had result for myself, but I also invested a ton of my own money. I spent like $10,000 in last year alone in marketing courses, programs, education, therapists, you name it,
Mhm.
which is something that costs 10 times more than my bachelor degree, and I kind of shortened it in a year basically. um, and I was desperately wanting from my supervisors and my leads and higher ups to see that, but there was just, as much as they were great, I mean, there are some of the fantastic people I will work with, and I'm deeply grateful for uh, the opportunity to work with them. And I was always looking for something bigger and more. And I just realized that I'm looking for validation in the wrong space. Not
Mhm.
because what they are interested is bad, or the fact that they are not resonating with marketing as much as I am is bad. It's just two different approaches, interests, opinions. None of it is good or bad. It's just something to realize that it's just you need to shift away when you see that you're not getting what you're getting here where you are. So
You're
that kind of frustration. At some point, I realized the only person I need to be angry with is myself. And
wow.
and that's when I started. And that's when I actually started recording lessons in last summer. So during the whole summer, I recorded I don't know 20 hours of lessons materials, and I packed that into my first product and program. And that's how I launched my first animation for social media program last October.
Great.
And I
Uh,
found the people who did value it and who were ready to pay for it. And that's kind of the hardest part to imagine the people who don't exist yet in your life who
wow.
will value you. And for that, you need coaching and to be exposed in communities where you can see that that is possible.
This is such an important point when it comes to imagination. To imagine, like you don't really have anything, you don't have people, but you kind of have to have this driving force, the power of imagination, to be able to see something and find a way to achieve it. And what I really liked is that you mentioned validation, and validation is such a strong word. And I feel like today in the corporate world, there is like a lack for a person who is driven, who is motivated, who wants to achieve success. Like I'm sitting for 15 hours every single day, and what do I get? Okay, I get a good salary. I should be grateful for that. What else do I get? Like I need some kind of like, internal satisfaction to show me that I'm doing the right thing and that I enjoy in doing what I do. So I
Mhm.
feel like this is also something that really lacks in today's world, and it can really make people angry. Is there anything else that you would like to share when it comes to this topic?
Yeah, so when you say I'm not valued, how much I feel like I should be valued, I think we are valued exactly how much we contribute. Because if you, for example, especially in corporation, there is like a tier system, how you get salaries, increases, and promotions, and so on. And a lot of people think, oh, I should be getting more because I did this, and that. However, a lot of people don't see the bigger picture and they don't ultimately suffer the consequences of running your own business. You don't do marketing and sales, you don't have to deal with people. So you're basically on your own, you're contributing. And in my case, in the animation industry, a lot of artists would, I don't know, record tutorials, do scripts, do all sorts of efforts to make the project better. They become better animators, but ultimately that doesn't move the needle as much as they would like. And that's simply because when you are in a job, you make a deal that somebody else is doing marketing and sales for you, and you are just receiving a portion of that benefit.
Yeah,
And
it
that
makes
and that's just a deal you made with your employer, knowingly or not knowingly.
with your employer.
But me being now on this other side of business, I see exactly why this is and what's the cost of doing your own marketing and sales, and how difficult a skill is to learn that, and how not only involves um, strategical marketing skills like hard skills, but also soft skills that are in your head, like mental skills that you need to overcome. So it requires so much of your um, self-introspection and self-investment. And 90% of animators and artists and general public doesn't want to do that, which is why only 2% of businesses are successful worldwide.
Mm,
So
okay,
I
yeah,
think we are valued exactly at the level we contribute to the society. If you think you can do more, go do it yourself and see what the market will say. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
It's quite difficult to do all these things on the side when you're actually you're having a product, and then
Mm-hmm.
think about like marketing, and
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know about it, you have to educate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then test it out, and then implement,
Mm-hmm.
and then, oh my goodness, it doesn't work. What should I
Mm-hmm.
change? But I also have to think about seven other things in the same time. And it
Yes.
sounds very mentally distressful to go through this, and to
Yes.
no, and that's why I feel like the big motivation is very important, because I feel like if you don't have that kind of drive, it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to actually maintain this status that you talked about, like the narrow
Mm-hmm.
path. So yeah, but what are the good things when you're reflecting on this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's a lot of challenges, like
Mm-hmm.
obviously, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but there is also a lot of good things. What are the good things that you get out of this?
Out of entrepreneurship or out of creating content?
Both. Like
Mhm.
out of, I would like to rephrase it maybe. What good did it come for you after
Mhm.
starting your own business and
Mm.
going into this new era?
Right. Well, first, it allowed me to rest a lot because I was working like a maniac for 10 years, constant overtime, constant passion projects. I was always working 8 hours a day plus 2 or 3 hours on something on the side. It was always something. So I never felt like I actually stopped and to breathe. So this is kind of the first time I'm doing that. And the first supposition I had that running a business entails working 16 hours a day and killing yourself to that. And I'm sure there are some type of businesses that do require um, that sacrifice, and some people are willing to take it. I wasn't, and I specifically chose this line of business for the nature of its lifestyle and the opportunity it can bring you, because you can earn very nice money that are super comfortable for a living working on a fraction of the time that you used to work in a corporate. So that's definitely one of the biggest benefits and allows me to read a lot and do stuff that I couldn't do as much as I wanted in my 9 to 5. It allows me to introduce myself, to know myself better and to really see, like, for example, I'm learning when do I like to create, what type of schedule and structure should I form. And for example, I learned that I like to create and I'm more creative and inspired in the evening than in the morning. Um, and then in the morning, if I do decide to work, then I need some sort of booster or a trigger to blood
I
is
think
true.
you frozen.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Booster or a trigger to get me into the mood to write and to create. And for that, I always tune in my mentors for like 10, 15 minutes to get into the groove of writing. And then I can work in the morning. But it's kind of learning what is your natural rhythm and what is required for you to get into the state to work. Because when you are working just 9 to 5, they don't ask you, are you feeling tired, uninspired? Some you have I don't know, a set amount of hours when do you need to deliver your thing. But here it's more like doesn't matter how many hours you work, nobody is going to pat you on the back, but it's like what you do in that amount of hours. That's the biggest transformation. It doesn't matter how much I work, but how focused I am while working. I was just showing my students the other day the difference between the content that is out there, that you pump the frequency and volume of the content, and you're doing all the right things. You're using all the right storytelling formulas, all everything you learn that you should do in a content. However, there is no you. You are not present there. We don't see your thoughts, your actual POV. And for that, you actually need to go into a proper state to write. And for me, is learning, okay, how many hours in a day can I actually be fully concentrated, and how many hours in a day is just bureaucratic fluff work that I can do with half brain present. So I'm splitting my days in half. Okay, when do I need to be alive, and when can I be vegetable and just do pay the bills and everything else doesn't require.
It's interesting that you mentioned that there's this structured approach to finding when are you able to work efficiently and creatively? Like, is that what I heard? Like, I feel
Yeah,
like you're trying to, which is very interesting because there is so many things about top theories about the ways people get inspiration. Like some of them say that you can be like, you need to, it depends on the outside, on the
hmm
how you set it up, like the sleep,
hmm
or some people, some artists, they can create at any time. Some people need to have like this little click of inspiration. Some
hmm
people have different approach. So there
hmm
is approach. But what is interesting for me to hear is that you are like trying to find this structured way,
hmm
and you also have space to explore that. It's like
yeah,
as if this new environment allow you to explore into the things that you didn't see before in your life, and that is
yeah.
also very interesting because it sounds to me like it's a lot of personal growth there.
Yeah, it's all, and also about the thing about content, which I really like. It's so diverse in terms of like I can have phases when I'm like in a hermit phase and I just want to write. And carousels on Instagram are great for that, or writing, an emails newsletter or LinkedIn post. That's really good when you're in that introverted phase, hermit phase. But there are also phases where, like, well, I want to be more on the camera and be more, talk more, hang out more with people. And that's when I use video, YouTube, shorts, play with props, experiment with video editing. So there's a lot of creative experimentation, and it's not like in animation industry where you have one project that lasts for 2 years and you do every single thing repetitively every day. Doesn't matter how you feel and what you like creating, but here you can actually change it based on where are you the best at the moment. And there are some days and some phases where I'm not inspired or I don't feel like having to say anything. And I have a lot of batch content prepared for phases like that. But I also, in phases like that, then I learn a lot. So I'm working in the background of my business. So currently I'm working on my YouTube SEO optimization, kind of preparing for some of that that's going to come maybe next year, but it's something I'm developing slowly in the background while I'm also, and also in the background are my business, are my clients, all the infrastructure that's behind taxes and all of that. So it's kind of, again, shifting your day and your weeks and your months based on your energy more. Then, of course, you need to have some sort of structure, but still it has a lot more flexibility than in 9 to 5. And you're a writer as well. You do write actually pretty good. So I'm curious, how do you approach writing?
Writing,
Yeah.
I'm pure chaotic inspiration. For me, I don't have any structure when it comes to creating something. It's a very deep internal process that I go through. I'm a very introspective person, and I usually, my position when I have an insight or idea is laying on my bed, closing my eyes, and just figuring it out until I connect the dots, until I have a clear vision and clear picture of
Mm,
what I wanted to say and what I mean. And then I'm mesmerized by this, what I got. But this is like a process that I go inside of myself. I use a lot of active imagination
mm,
because I also do Jungian coaching. So I use a lot of symbolic thinking in my work
mm,
and in myself. It's because my type of coaching is also a lot of work on self. I need to work on myself in order to be able to understand the symbolic language from another point of view. So yeah, this is how I create in that sense, and I'm very observant as well. I get some kind of data, and then
mm,
something hits me in my mind, and then I figure it out, and then I write about it.
mm,
It's like that, and it's all the time like that. So this is my way when it comes to
mm.
writing.
It's
Uh,
interesting to see how different people approach writing differently. I have this point of view that you don't always have to be super mega inspired in order to write and create content. And I like to show up for creating content. And whenever that godly, divine spark, you name it, however you want to call it, comes, I'll welcome it. But I think it will never come if we don't show up. And we have to allow for that crappy work to exist in order for the good one to eventually emerge.
Absolutely, because you can have a good idea, but if you know, and you can start writing it, but you have to make 1,000 mistakes in order to present it well. So this is also a learning process for me as well, because I'm constantly revising my work. I'm constantly figuring out what do I need to add, what do I need to delete, how should I phrase this. So it's the idea is just one part. Inspiration is as I say, like talent is 5%, but what is
Mm,
the hard work behind it? So
mm.
there's a lot of that. So I would like to also ask you one question. Would you ever go back to where you were, in a sense of working in a corporate company, office?
I don't know. I I want to say no. I wouldn't go back, but I don't know where life will take me. Um, Maybe, but from this point of view, I don't see how is that possible because I'm on a completely different trajectory. I don't know how I would go back there. But for the time being, no. Um, no, I'm just fully focused on developing this online business and showing artists how they can be independent from the studios as well. And a lot of them do enjoy their job and do enjoy their craft, but they don't like the instability the industry offers, the short contracts, contracts that are pulled under the rug, you name it, all sorts of things. And I just want to offer them and show them that with social media, they have so many other opportunities to monetize and create that side income while they're doing their full-time job. So that's kind of my thing now. And yeah, I like it so far.
It sounds like a great idea to actually also inspire other people to take some kind of to take charge in their lives and not to be so inert and to
Mm,
develop some kind of responsibility and respect for themselves.
mm,
Because today, in today's world, the artist is like really endangered with artificial
yeah.
intelligence, everything. So, you have to kind of develop this kind of I wanna present myself and my art and I wanna show my story. So I
Hmm.
feel like this is why marketing is very important to,
Hmm.
to encourage the person to actually present themselves and move into the self-development phase, which is the most important part of life to develop yourself and grow, I think. So yeah. Um, Anyway, it was very nice to talk to you. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I wish you that your business grows and grows even more and more. And yeah, I will probably see you at coffee anytime soon. But yeah, I really enjoyed, and thank you for so many insights. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I always like talking with old friends and people who are shifting their careers and starting to do things differently and starting to take risk and willing to take courage for the unknown. So yeah, I'm grateful for this conversation, and I hope people will learn something from it and benefit from it. So yeah, also congrats. We forgot to mention your kind of background, but I'm sure you're gonna say that in another video. You left Emirates and you started to do Jungian coaching, and I'm sure your audience will see this on this profile. But I also wish you the best of luck in learning so many different skills needed for running an online business, almost like your Formula One racing and changing the tire mid race. So it feels like that. But yeah, I think a little bit of faith is just, it's all that's needed. So thank you again.